it's literally impossible to eat that food. And this is the process I personally would recommend you go through, so I want you to listen in. 5 diet mistakes that hold you back from losing weight. That's what I'm going to talk about in this video. The goal of this video is to share with you the 5 things that most people are making, the mistakes people are making, so that then you can actually start losing body fat. If you are the type of person that's interested in learning how to build lean muscle, but also how to lose body fat, then this YouTube channel is going to be helpful for you. So if you want to subscribe, and if you click the little bell as well, that will notify you every time I upload a new YouTube video. I also have a bonus tip if you want to wait right until the end of this video, and that's going to hold you accountable and make sure you actually do the steps in the video so that you can accomplish your goals, because that's what we all want. The first thing is tracking your calories. Not necessarily tracking your macros, although you can if you want to do that, but not tracking your calories is the biggest mistake that I see people make. It's a common saying that what gets measured gets managed. I believe what gets measured gets accomplished. If you're not measuring and looking at the back of food labels, looking how many calories are in the food you're eating, how can you know that you're eating in a calorie deficit? How can you know that you're going to lose body fat? Because you don't know what's in the food you're eating. You're just eating at random. If you have random actions, you will get random results. You have to be strategic in your actions if you want to get strategic results. I don't want to hear any excuses from any of you. It literally takes 10 minutes a day to turn the back of the food labels around and read what you're eating, and write down on a piece of paper or on your phone how many calories you ate that day and where those calories came from. Even if you just do this for 3 or 4 weeks, I always recommend people do it. Diet mistake number 2 that's holding you back from losing weight is not making your diet or nutrition plan sustainable. I see it all the time. People go on low carb diets, or they don't eat sugar at all. They cut all sugar out, all chocolate out, all alcohol out, and all they do is eat these clean foods, chicken and rice. And the problem is with that, even though they're healthy foods, that would be the perfect scenario. We can't stick to that. There's not many human beings that can stick to that very strict diet, and the people that can usually have financial incentive to do so, such as it's their career, they're being paid millions to actually stick to that type of diet. So the average person will not be able to stick to that diet, and even if you can, it's not enjoyable. What I teach people to do is to lose weight without giving up your favorite foods. I want you to eat healthy, and everybody can eat healthy, but I also want you to incorporate some favorite foods as well. So here's how you do that. First of all, I have a cheat day once a week where you eat basically what you want. The goal is not to go crazy though. The goal is to just eat, not think about nutrition on that particular day. Another way that I actually teach people to be able to eat healthy and hit their fat loss goals in a sustainable way, enjoyable way, is all of these healthy foods that we have are easy to make taste good, such as sweet potatoes. Who doesn't like potatoes? And put some salt and butter on there, and even sprinkle a little bit of cheese on there. It's a healthy meal. It's going to help you lose weight if you're in a calorie deficit, and it tastes good. So we can always make healthy meals taste good as long as you're not a lazy person. And also, there's another thing. I actually recommend eating chocolate. I actually recommend that people that I work with do that. And all you have to do is eat 100 to 200 calories of chocolate, or something that is your favorite food that you feel like you almost can't live without. Have 100 or 200 calories of that food every day before bed, with your last meal. What I like to do is have a little bit of chocolate with my very last meal of the day. It makes me feel satisfied, and I don't feel like I want to come off my diet or cheat, because I'm happy with the food that I'm eating. Diet mistake number 3, and this is a massive one, it's one of the most common mistakes people make, and that is drinking your calories. So people will drink different shakes, people will drink milkshakes. Alcohol at the weekend is a big one. People are drinking a lot of alcohol. They're also drinking just things like any type of flavored drink during the day, different sodas, different Coca-Cola, whatever it is. People are drinking those calories, those sugars, and because they're not tracking their calories, like we said before in tip number 1. That 3 to 4 weeks of tracking your calories is very important to see where your calories are coming from. But people don't realize at the end of the week, they're thinking, well, I haven't really ate that many calories this week, I haven't lost weight. Why is that? They get frustrated, they think they can't do it, they give up, and those type of people, that's how people become overweight or obese forever, because they get so frustrated with it. And that's just from one simple thing of not realizing the calories they're getting are coming from food. They're drinking a lot of alcohol at the weekend. They're drinking different shakes and milkshakes and different coffees with cream and sugar and milk, and that all adds up, and that's a lot of calories. So you have to factor in that. The way you factor that in is being mindful of it and by tracking those calories like we said before. Diet mistake number 4 is eating little and often and snacking throughout the day. This is one of the biggest mistakes because every time we eat food we spike insulin. Insulin is an anabolic hormone that causes you to gain weight. If you keep eating more frequently throughout the day, you're going to gain more weight. It's going to stop you from burning more fat. The reason though that a lot of people are doing this is because they're an emotional eater. So what I recommend doing is eating 3 meals a day. I do intermittent fasting. You don't have to do intermittent fasting, but if you're not doing intermittent fasting, or you eat 3 meals a day with no snacks whatsoever. So breakfast, lunch and dinner, or you can split those 3 meals up if you're fasting as well. The key is not to be an emotional eater, and this is one of the biggest mistakes that people make. They have a bad day at work, at school, they're stressed, they have any kind of stress, they fall out with a girlfriend, boyfriend, partner, fall out with their parents, they have a bad day, they don't feel happy on that certain day, and as a result of that stress or unhappiness, they turn to food. And it's common, it's a mistake, but it's not a bad thing because it's human nature. It feels like it's a quick fix, something that will help us, and the truth is it never actually helps you. It just makes the situation worse, because if you're having a bad day, the last thing that you want to be doing is eating sugar, chocolate, all of those sweet foods we go for, because just think about the last time you did that, and we've all done it. It makes you feel more tired, it makes you feel like you have less energy, but it also makes you feel guilty, it makes you feel depressed, it makes you feel bad about yourself after doing it. So it's obviously not a good solution. So what can we do instead? One thing I want everyone to understand, whether you're 13 years old watching this video or 50 years old, it doesn't matter. Human beings go through all different ranges of emotions, and happiness is just one of those emotions. Humans think that you can be happy all the time, or you should be happy all the time. They see people on Instagram who look like they're living a very good life, even though most of their pictures are either edited or about 60 seconds of a day, and then they have a boring life, even though on Instagram it looks like they're very interesting. A lot of these celebrities, most of their days are boring days, just reading scripts and things like that. So don't think that people are happy all the time. It's just an emotion that we all experience, as is sadness, as is fear, as is all the different emotions. You will experience all of them, and you should experience all of them. So I want you to understand that about happiness and about feeling bad, and then don't link feeling sad or stressed or having a bad day to eating food. So what we want to do is change that trigger in our heads. So every single time you're stressed, having a bad day, all of those things, you're immediately going to think, right, I'm going for the food, I've had enough of this argument or whatever it is, I've had enough of work today, school today. At that point, remove yourself from the environment of food. If you have food downstairs in your house, if you have food with you, walk away from that situation. Go sit in your car, go for a walk where it's literally impossible to eat that food. At that point, a good one is just go and sit in your car if you have a car, or sit outside. At that point, this is the process I personally would recommend you go through, so I want you to listen in, is spend 5 minutes just meditating. And meditating is just breathing with silence. So if you want to learn how to do that, just go on another YouTube video and figure out how to meditate if you don't know how to do it. But just focusing on your breathing, and then what you do is after you've focused on your breathing, take 5 minutes to think through the stress, the problem, whatever it is. Because realistically, the only way to solve the problem is to go to that person and have a discussion with them as an adult and solve the issue. If it's a money problem, you need to think about how you can spend less money, save more money, get a different career, work on something else on the side. There's always ways to actually solve any problem. Any problem in the world you can solve. It's just whether you want to solve it or not. And I know I'm going quite deep into this, but I want to change that trigger in people's head from, right, I'm stressed, I'm angry, whatever, I'm going to eat loads of food and ruin my diet, ruin my mood, ruin my happiness, to let me just take 10 minutes out of my day. That's it, 10 minutes out of 24 hours to just meditate and just think about the problem, and then try and come up with a solution. And literally 9 times out of 10 or more than that, you're then going to be able to continue your day and have success during that day. Mistake number 5, and I'm sorry that bit took so long, but I really want you to get that last point. It's really important for me so that you can succeed to get that last point. I don't benefit from you using the tip. I just want you to succeed. That's what I want for you. So the fifth point is the most important point, actually, so I commend you if you stayed to the video this long, but it's the calorie deficit. I've talked about this before in numerous different videos, and it's the key driver of fat loss. All the other 4 tips are very important and some valuable information. Like, you tell me the last time you've gone on a YouTube video and got that much value from it. You really haven't, you know, because people don't post videos like that. The point is that you need to have the calorie deficit nailed in first, and all these extra tips are extra tips. So 95% of your success with weight loss and fat loss will come from eating in a calorie deficit. You need to understand that. As I promised you, the bonus tip, and this is one of the best things. It's quite scary to do for most of you, but it's one of the best things to actually make sure you do all of those things that I've just shared with you, and that's to tell people. Tell your friends, tell strangers, certainly tell your family, you know, people close to you. Say, hey, I'm going to lose 10 pounds, whatever your goal is, I'm going to do this, and make it clear what your goal is, and tell them you're going to do it. Tell them every single day that you're going to do it. That way you hold yourself accountable, because people are looking at you and thinking, you said you was going to do this. You feel like you have to do it because you've created that pressure for yourself. Now, I know most of you won't do that. Honestly, I just know that you won't, but there may be 5-10% of people that are considering that. Please do that, because that's going to really, I mean, I've done that with my big goals before. I tell people what my goals are so that it puts pressure on myself to accomplish them. Because if it's just you and your goals, a lot of people don't have the accountability, the discipline, the willpower to stick to that goal.